Alright, so in about a month, The Flash will be returning with its final season, Season 9. So here's everything we know about The Flash Season 9. So like I literally just said, this is officially the final season of The Flash. It will consist of 13 episodes, which makes it the shortest season of The Flash by quite a bit, with the previous season being about 18 episodes, and it will release on February 8th. From the main cast of characters, Grant Gustin has confirmed that he will return as the titular character Barry Allen, aka The Flash. Also, Candice Patton will return as Iris, Daniel Panabaker as Caitlin, and probably / possibly as Frost, or a version of Frost based on the ending of season 8. Brandon McKnight as Chester, Kayla Compton as Allegra, Daniel Nicolette as Cecile, Jesse L. Martin will return as Joe, but he has been demoted from series regular and will only appear in a handful of episodes. But on the other hand, John Core, who plays Chillblaine, has been promoted to a series regular. And it's, yeah, what you gonna do, huh? I'm assuming he's gonna be a big part of everything that's going on with Caitlin and possibly Killer Frost that was teased at the end of season 8. So maybe that'll be somewhat interesting. Now for returning guest characters, we have Javicia Leslie coming back as Batwoman. And she will also play another character that I'll talk about in a bit. But as for her role as Batwoman, I'm so interested how she's gonna fit in because of the whole recasting Ruby Rose and stuff. At this point, from what we know, The Flash doesn't know about Ryan Wilder being the new Batwoman. The only other time there was some interaction between Ryan Wilder's Batwoman and Team Flash was in Armageddon, but that was set in the future. So at that point, they would know her, I'm assuming at least. But as far as the present day, they're probably either going to just meet her or establish that they met off screen. And see, now, I would prefer to see them meet, but because of this other character that Javicia Leslie will be playing, and of course, depending on how they treat this character's story, it would work a bit better if Flash and this Batwoman knew each other, meaning that they would have to meet off screen, but I guess we'll just see. Nicole Maines will return as Dreamer, who is a character from Supergirl. And as for Supergirl herself, at the moment we know nothing about her appearing, but I would hope so. John Wesley Shipp has confirmed that he will return as Jay Garrick, and with that we can probably assume that Michelle Harrison will also appear as Jay Garrick's wife, Joan Garrick. Patrick Sabong will return as Captain Singh, and Andy Mantis as the Pied Piper. And we also have 4 really major characters all returning in the same episode, that being episode 9, where it is the only episode they will return in is unknown, but it will be the first episode they appear in. And those characters consist of Sandhill Ramamurthy as Bloodwork, who last appeared in season 6 episode 17, and he was still in prison, but he was also showed in an Arrowverse tie-in comic which he escaped the prison he was in, and the comic ended with "to be continued" in The Flash season 9, so very curious if that's going to be canon. Also, finally, Kanan Lonsdale will return as Wally West, aka Kid Flash. David Ramsey as John Diggle will also return, and hopefully we get something more involving the whole Green Lantern story. And finally, the big bombshell, Stephen Amell will return as Oliver Queen. And as to how he comes back, no clue. It could be one of many ways: time travel, multiverse, Spectre, maybe even a dream sequence, I don't know, but honestly, I just can't wait to see it, man. And as for returning villains, because there is quite a few, we have, as I said earlier, Bloodwork coming back. Damian Poitier will return as Goldface. Max Adler as the Hotness. Whether he counts as a villain, maybe, maybe not, I don't know, but I put him in this section. Paul Anthony as Rainbow Raider, and this one is very interesting because last time we saw him was in season 1, and he was also part of a few metahumans who escaped in the second to last episode of season 1, and some of them, like Rainbow Raider, never showed up again, so it would be nice if they acknowledge that. But most likely it'll be something post-crisis related. And it's also cool to see him return because he was the very first villain that they had for the very first crossover. And another interesting one, and this one will definitely be post-crisis related, is Sugar Lynn Beard returning as Hazard. And last time we saw her, she was killed by DeVoe. So curious what's up there, and does this maybe tease a possible DeVoe return? So when it comes to new characters, pretty much just villains, we will be seeing a new version of Captain Boomerang. Previously, Captain Boomerang was played by Nikki Tarabay. And in the Arrowverse, he was an Arrow villain more than he was a Flash villain. But the new Captain Boomerang will be a Flash villain, and he will be played by Richard Harmon, so I'm hyped for that. And a villain that will debut this season will be the Red Death. And Red Death is the second character that Javicia Leslie will be playing this season. A little summary of Red Death: he's pretty much an evil Batman from an alternate universe where he stole the Flash's speed and became the villain Red Death. So in the Arrowverse, it makes perfect sense for Red Death to be an alternate version of Batwoman since Batman isn't around. If Red Death appeared a lot earlier on The Flash, like back when Oliver was still alive, I actually always thought it would have been a cool idea if Red Death was an alternate version of Oliver, since Green Arrow was pretty much the Batman of the Arrowverse. But now that Oliver is dead, I wouldn't really want Red Death to be Oliver, so I'm glad it's Batwoman. And this is what I was talking about earlier. I feel like it would have had a stronger impact if Flash already knew Batwoman when he finds out who Red Death is. But I also want to see Flash meet Batwoman, but if they just now meet, it wouldn't really be a big shock for Flash to see who Red Death is because he wouldn't know her. It's a really annoying little thing here, but ultimately I'll just see what they end up doing. I'm just super happy they're finally using Red Death. I think Red Death is a really badass character and I always wanted to see him show up on the show. The only little thing is, while the suit from what we saw in the set photos has comic accuracy, there's just something off about it, but I'll wait to judge when I see it on the show and like in action and stuff, because it might look way better. And that's everything we know and is confirmed about The Flash Season 9, but some things we can strongly assume are like Impulse and XS will definitely show up at one point in the season. Tom Cavanaugh will also definitely return at some point. As to whether it will be as a version of Wells or Reverse Flash, I don't know, but he definitely will pop up. Kramer will probably show up here and there since she's the captain of CCPD. The Speed Force and the other forces will most likely also show up. We might see Zoom and Godspeed show up because Zoom has been teased many times and Eric Wallace always said he really wants to bring him back. And there's also that newspaper tease in The Flash Season 8. And I feel like we will also see Cisco return just because it's the final season.